Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham, buddham, buddham vande. Dhammang, dhammang, dhammang vande. Sanghang, sanghang, sanghang vande. Buddham, dhammang, sanghang vande. Samanta cakkavalesu atra gaccantu devata saddhammang munirajassa sunantu sagga mokkadam Dhammasavana kālo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kālo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kālo ayam badanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Vinja uppatatang sentha avinja nipatatang vara Sangho pavajamananam buddho pavadatang varoti. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, here today we are going to explain one of the meditation and meaningful discourse. It says as Vutthi Sutta. Vutthi means in Pali language rain. This sutta explains one of parts that is rain or raining. And before I am going to explain this discourse, I would like to explain something in Buddhism in short as we did before, because again and again we should know the process of Buddhism. That is very important. Because Buddha has explained very clearly that the message of Buddha deepens gradually. It is like the ocean. Ocean deepens gradually from the beach to the bottom. Anybody can go to some particular place according to their skills, according to their physical body. Buddhism also like that. According to our intelligence, we can catch some of doctrines in Buddhism and also we can apply it in our day-to-day life. That is the interesting thing in Buddhism. Therefore, we should recognize where we are in. That is very important. When we understand Buddha's message from the beginning to end, we can understand in which place now we are. That is very important. Because we are very intelligent, we should not be in a particular place for a long time. We should move gradually. If we have more courage, we should go fast. If we are lazy or if we are ignorant, we may go slowly. But all of you are so intelligent, therefore we should go fast to the destination. That is very important. However, when we discuss Buddha's message, as I mentioned before, that in first Buddha explains that how we succeed in this life. Everyone wants to succeed this visible world. That is very important. When we are going to succeed this life as an ordinary person, what kind of things that we should fulfill? Yes, very good. There are 4 things we should fulfill to succeed this life. One of them is education. Education is very important. Buddha says that one of duties of parents is that giving the good education to their children. That is very important. Sippan Sikkapenti. In the discourse of Singala, Buddha says very clearly that as responsible parents, they should give good education to their children. That is very important. Not only knowledge about subjects, but we should be qualified in languages. That is very important. Not only verbal languages, but if we can, we should qualify in even sign language too. That is very important. There are a lot of intelligent people among deaf people. I think you have heard there are some particular universities for deaf people. They can study from bachelor degrees to PhD degree, even though they are deaf, using sign language. There are a lot of techniques and there are a lot of methods that they can improve their knowledge. Sometimes they know several languages. Not only sign language, but sometimes they know English. They can write English. They can write Japanese. Even though they are deaf, even though they can't speak, they can read, they can understand, they can explain their ideas throughout in various languages. However, education is very important, but we should be careful that when we have education, that education should be meaningful and should be helpful for other people. Not only we should focus on earning money throughout education, but when we study something, we should understand how we can do a service to the world. That is very important. There are some scientists, they discover some instruments to recover some sicknesses, diseases. Then actually they do not only do a job, but they acquire a lot of merits throughout doing their jobs, throughout their education. Therefore, when we study, you should think to how many people that I can help throughout my job. That is also very important. And education is the first thing that we should develop for success in this life. And also the other one is economy or employment. We should have a good economy or a wealth, financial resources. That is also very important. But we should earn money, earn wealth in righteous ways. That is very important. Even though we need money, but when we are going to earn money, we should understand whether it is correct or not, the way that we use to earn money. According to Buddhism, Buddha has rejected some jobs, such as creating some weapons and killing some animals for flesh, and also selling drugs, alcohol. And those are the prohibited jobs that Buddha has explained. Because when we do those jobs, actually we can be happy when we think the wealth that we earned. Yes?
Was Buddha vegetarian?
Buddha was not vegetarian, but Buddha told that when we receive some meat or fish, we should know that whether that animal is killed for me. If someone says that, Bhante, this animal is killed for you, then we can get it. And also we can command someone, you should bring fish or fresh, we can say. In Buddha's time it's not like that. Now the companies or farms, they decide how many people need how much weight fresh fish or something. According to their apply or demand, they kill animals. But in Buddha's time it is not like that. For example, monks receive their food, begging food. And people didn't know whether monks come or not. They prepared some food for themselves. Sometimes some hunters killed some animal and they prepare some food for them. When monks go on the way, they offered the food that they prepared for themselves. They didn't kill animals for the monks. In this situation, it is not prohibited in Buddhism. But Buddha always encouraged us to have vegetables. That is very important, especially for physical health. Not only for our spiritual life, but it is very important for our physical health. Even current society scientists have done a lot of researches. If we can avoid having some meat or something, it is very useful for our physical health. However, Buddha has prohibited especially some meats, such as human meat and lion's meat, elephant's meat. Buddha has completely rejected. There are 10 animals Buddha has explained that we should never take. There are some reasons that Buddha has accepted some meat, but it doesn't mean that Buddha has eaten meat. That is the interesting thing. There are a lot of discourses we can find about having meat, and especially one day there was a devotee like Jivaka. He asked a question, Bhante, do you recommend it to take meat? Then Buddha said very clearly, when we eat something as meat, we should not have a doubt that this meat is prepared for me. And also we should have a confidence that I didn't say that these people killed these animals for me. Aditta, aparisankita, asuta. Asuta means that he didn't hear that these people killed this animal for me. Aditta, not seen, not heard, not doubt. If we have these three things, we can eat something when people offer something. Okay, here, especially Buddha has prohibited a job that killing animals and selling animals. It is a prohibited job in Buddhism. Selling alcohol, meat, weapons, these kind of things. And also, sometimes we can see some people sell some people for service. That is also prohibited. Wahal vela dama. Then slaves. Slavery. Yes, some people brought some people from Africa to here. Then that is also prohibited in Buddhism. We can sell the people to some service. And however, economy is very useful to succeed this life. And the third one is, what is the third one? What is the third one? Health. Not only physical health, but we should have a mental health. Both of them are very important. Even though we are well educated, even though we are very rich, if we are sick, everything that we earned is useless. Therefore, we should have a very healthy life, physically and mentally. The other one is, what is the other one? Other one is morality or ethics. We should live ethically. We should have a moral life, virtuous life. We should have good discipline in our speech and behavior. Even though we are very rich, educated, and healthy, if our character is not good, we can't live successfully in the society. Even though we were born alone, even though we will die alone, but we have to live in the society with many people. Here, it is very important that our honor. Everybody needs the honor. Therefore, we should have a good character. These four things are very important to succeed this life, whether we believe karma or not. Whether we believe next life or not, it doesn't matter. But everybody needs to succeed this life. In that situation, these four things should be completed by a wise person. Okay, this is the first. There are a lot of teachings that Buddha has explained in his teachings, discourses, how we succeed in these four areas. Sometimes Buddha has recommended some medicine too. When some monks were ill, Buddha has given some medicines. Buddha has recommended some herbal medicines. And also, Buddha has given a lot of information about economy, how we succeed economically. And also, Buddha has recommended how we succeed in our moral life, especially practicing 5 precepts. That is very important for our spiritual life. And while we are succeeding in these 4 areas, we should go forward. Having a success in these 4 areas is like having a bachelor's degree. But we should not stop in a bachelor's degree. As intelligent people, we go forward towards the master's degree. What is the master's degree in Buddhism? There are certain steps that we should have a good knowledge about the karmic law. Even though we live here freely, there is a very severe influence in our life, which is the karmic law. In this situation, when we listen to Buddha's message, we have a confidence in the karmic law. Whatever we do with intention, we will have the same results. Buddha says very clearly that mind is the forerunner. Mind is thief. Mind may die dead. If someone does something with impure mind, because of that mental condition, we will have bad results. Like, when carts go draft ox front, then the wheels follows the draft ox, like that. Whatever we do with impure mind, we will have bad results, physically, verbally or mentally. At the same way, if we do something with pure mind, because of pure mind, we will have good results. Like our shadow. Shadow never leaves us like that. Our good karmas follows us in this life and hereafter. Even though we don't believe next life, actually when we do some bad deeds, we can see the results them in this life itself. When you hurt others, when you disturb others, you will receive the same results. That is why we should avoid bad things. And also if you have good character, if you are helpful to others, other people also will help you. That is the visible result. In this situation, Buddha has recommended to go to the second level. It said as 3 meritorious deeds, as dana or generosity, sila or virtue, and bhavana or meditation. These 3 things are recommended in Buddhism to succeed hereafter and this life too. When we practice generosity, our mind is so pure and calm. When we have a good discipline in our speech and behavior, we can go to any society without fear, without shame, because of our good character. And also, bhavana means, this is not the very deeper level bhavana, this is said the primary level mental culture, such as practicing loving kindness. Especially, Buddha has explained the importance of practicing loving kindness, because anger is one of the major reasons that disturbs our peace of mind. When we are angry, actually, even though we have a lot of facilities, we don't feel those facilities. That is why we have to overcome anger little by little by practicing loving kindness. That is very important. We should try to purify our mind from negative thoughts. Especially here it is recommended to overcome greed and anger. Greed and anger, and some kind of level in delusion too, ignorance too. Especially, Buddha wanted to point out to overcome greed and anger here. When we practice generosity or dana, we try to overcome greed or attachment. And also when we practice sila or discipline, we give others fearlessness. When you practice 5 precepts, actually everybody likes to accept you. If they are completely sure that you don't steal, you don't have sexual misconduct, you don't tell lies, actually they like to give you anything. How nice. They have no fear. That is why Buddhism says we should give others fearlessness. When we observe 5 precepts, when we have a good character, especially avoiding stealing, sexual misconduct, and telling lies, then people are very happy about us. And also they are ready to give anything for us. That is why we should follow this path. Bhavana means little by little we try to purify our mind using some meditation techniques. It is very important. Not only Buddhists, but a lot of people in the world now they practice mindfulness. They try to keep their attention in the present moment, because a lot of problem in the world is stress or stress management. A lot of psychiatrists have recommended to practice loving kindness and mindfulness. When you find articles of psychiatrists for last 5 decades, they mostly recommended to practice loving kindness and mindfulness. Even though they are Christians, even though they are Muslims, even though they are Hindus, whoever they are, it doesn't matter that they have recommended to follow these 2 things. They are loving kindness and mindfulness. Before 2600 years ago, Buddha explains very clearly, practicing mindfulness is the only way for the purification of beings. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to getting rid of suffering. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to reduce lamentation, suffering and sorrow. In Satipatthana Sutta, Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the great discourse of mindfulness, Buddha says the importance of practicing loving mindfulness. On the other side, in loving kindness Sutta, Metta Sutta, Karni Metta Sutta, Buddha says, Yantam Santam Padam Abhisamicca. He who wishes to become a peaceful life has to practice loving kindness. Before 2600 years ago, Buddha clearly has pointed out the importance of practicing loving kindness for inner peace. In this situation, using bhavana, we have to practice mindfulness and loving kindness. Those 2 things are very important. They are important not only for this life, but hereafter too. Even though we don't believe next life, it doesn't matter. But everyone needs to succeed and be happy in this life. Therefore, we have to practice these 3 things. The other one is, sometimes Buddha says the importance of practicing dana. One day, a person asks you, how we win our friends? What is the technique of winning friends and relatives? What is the answer of the Buddha? Giving something to others. If you are generous, your generosity is one of the techniques that you can win your friends and relatives. That is very important. Dadang mittani gandati. He who practices generosity wins friends. That is very important. Having these 3 things is like having our master's degree. But Buddhism doesn't stop in the master's degree. We should go to the final destination towards the PhD degree. When we go to the certain level that we explain, it is enough having Kammasakata Sammaditthi or the knowledge of the karmic law. But when we go to the deeper level, the 3rd level, Buddha says the importance of knowing the dependent origination. Dependent origination is the heart of Buddhism. Dependent origination is the identity in Buddhism. This is the discovery of the Buddha. This is the very new thing in this eon. This is the only thing that we can never see in any other religion or philosophy. What is the dependent origination that Buddha says? Yes, especially Buddha explains here impermanence. What is the impermanence? That usually people say when we ask them what is impermanent, They say that changing. Now you are young, one day you are in old age. Someday you are subject to die. That is impermanence. More people say. But it is not the impermanence that Buddhism says. It is changing. Changing is in Pali says as viparinama. Changing. Impermanence explains in Buddhism as anicca. Anicca and viparinama, or impermanence and changing, are different. Changing can be seen by everyone, even scientists, while they are doing some experiments, dividing atoms. They have explained the changing of atoms. Electron, proton, neutron. They have said the changing of some very fundamental elements. It is not difficult to understand. Actually, Buddha had analyzed, Buddha had realized viparinama or changing before he did his renunciation. Before he became an ascetic person, he discovered, he understood changing. But after Buddha enlightened, Buddha says, I realized something that I have never heard. Before Buddha gave up his palace, relatives and kingdom, Buddha knew very well old age, sickness, death. He understood. But after he attained enlightenment, Buddha says, I realized something that I never heard before. What he realized under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya is never realized by him before. It is a very special thing. What is that? That is impermanence. Impermanence means when we experience something, that experience arises at the moment. All other religions and philosophies say that before we were born in the world, there was a world. We were born in this world which happened before we were born. After we die, the world remains. It is true, but only according to conventional truth. When we go to the deeper level, the ultimate truth, it is not true. World is created by ourselves, by our mind. When we look at something, at that moment we create the world. When we hear something, at that moment we create our world. Our present thought arises at the moment and it immediately ceases. But it has some influence, the other thought. But the present thought in the same way doesn't go to the next thought. When present thought ceases, it influences next thought. But present thought never goes to second thought. Every moment we create the world throughout our senses. According to our mental condition, according to our ignorance, craving, mental formations, we create our senses at the moment. This I, Buddha says, I is impermanent. What is the meaning of I is impermanent? We usually say that the I comes from my birth. It will end when I die. But the I that Buddha says is not that I. That is the physical I. That I can be seen. But the I that Buddha says cannot be seen. We can see the physical I. But the I that creates the forms cannot be seen. The eye that Buddha says is the ability of seeing. Even though we have this eye, when I am looking at you, when my hand is going here and there, I can see it. One time, I have only one form with my consciousness. On the other side, when one sense acts, the other sense don't work, don't act. But because our senses are very fast, we may think that these 6 senses work together. But when we hear something, our eye doesn't work. When we look at something, our ear doesn't work. But these 6 senses are very fast. They work very fast. Therefore, we think that these 6 senses work together. But when one sense works, the others don't work. The other thing is, when we see something, we have only the shadow or color. It doesn't mean a particular color, the general color. Then suddenly, the form ceases. Then, after sees that form, the other thing arises, that sanya vedana, feelings arise. Then, according to feelings, throughout my mind, I create the thing, that this is that person. When I recognize you, I recognize not my eye consciousness. I recognize you, my mental consciousness, mind consciousness. Suddenly goes to the mind. Through eyes, we get only the shadow. When we recognize, actually I can't recognize you by my eye consciousness. When I recognize even you are a man, I recognize it by my mind consciousness. That is the nature of my life. And that all experiences arise at the moment. And also, when we experience something, it has gone to our mind. It starts throughout our five senses, but when we recognize something, we recognize everything throughout our mental consciousness. Then, the first thing has ceased. But because of our ignorance, when I look at you, I think just now I am recognizing you. But when I recognize you, the several steps has passed. For example, when we look at the universe, you can see some galaxies, some planets, some solar systems. When you look at those solar systems, sometimes they have ceased. They are vinasavela, they are destroyed for long time because they are very fair. Sometimes, when some lights come to the earth, sometimes it takes more than 100 years, 100 light years. When you see the universe, a lot of planets and galaxies are destroyed. Actually, not only that, but even just now, when I look at you, it is not different with that incident. When I look at you, several steps have passed. I recognize you by my consciousness. But our ignorance doesn't believe it. And if we can see this impermanence, actually our attachment and detachment automatically cease. We have nothing to catch as permanent. We have nothing to fight. We have nothing to take something with desire or greed. When we see this nature, first we should understand this knowledge throughout listening. Listening is the first step of this path. Then we should reflect on it, and finally we should practice it throughout meditation. Here in this path, Buddha has recommended to practice 3 steps. First of all, we should have good knowledge where we are going to and what we practice, and then having this good understanding, we are going to practice this path. First thing is virtue. Is correct? Virtue? Virtue or sila. The second one is samadhi or concentration. And the third one is wisdom. These are the 3 steps that we should practice, having knowledge where we are going to. And again, we try to practice good discipline in our life. And also we try to practice mindfulness, and as the result of practicing mindfulness, our mind is concentrated. Then with concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence again and again. Then we gradually go away from attachment and detachment. It is the nature when we practice wisdom. Going away from greed and anger is the nature. For example, if this hall is dark, we can't remove darkness. Having some big trash cans, if we can't remove the darkness, what we should do? We should light a candle. We should put on the switch of light. Then automatically darkness goes away. Our spiritual life also like that. When we practice this path, when wisdom increases, automatically the negative thoughts such as greed, anger, jealousy gradually go away. They have no space to live here with wisdom. Whenever we are unhappy, whenever we are stressed, whenever we are suffering, be sure we are in the past with ignorance. When somebody comes here who has blamed you, as soon as he comes here, what happens to you? Your face is unpleasant. What is the reason? You are in the past. If you are mindful, if you are here mindfully, then it is not like that. You know very well, now I read my mind, not the true incident. Then we can remember that incident mindfully. Then we have no suffering. We have no fight. We can recognize that person who blamed me, but we don't live in the past experience. Someone can blame you once. If you are ignorant, you are blamed again and again. Someone can hit you once. If you are ignorant, you are hit again and again by yourself, by your ignorance. Buddha says, if you need, please be hit once, but not again. That is why Buddha recommended to practice mindfulness. Okay, this is the doctorate, the highest degree that Buddha has recommended to practice us. However, today we are going to talk Vutthi Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya, Korean discourse. One day, at a night, when Buddha was in Savatthi, a deity or divine being came and asked a question from Buddha. Actually, he asked 4 questions in a same stanza. He asked very good questions. He asked, Kinsu uppatatang settam, kinsu nipatatang varam. Page 1. Kinsu pavajamananam, kinsu pavadatang varam. The first question that he asked, Kinsu uppatatang settam. What is the best of things that rise up? The next one, Kinsu nipatatang varam. What excels among things that fall down? Kinsu pavaja mananam. What is the best of things that go forth on the earth? What is the best thing that walk on the earth? Kinsu pavada tangvaram. Who is the most excellent of speakers? These are the 4 questions that he asked a divine person. Actually, this is very important to understand. Some people think that Buddhism rejects divine beings. Actually, it is not true. There are a lot of connections with deities in Buddhism. Buddhism has a lot of conversations with deities, with divine beings. But the difference in Buddhism is Buddhism doesn't believe the creative God. Buddhism never says that there is a creative God in the world. But Buddhism believes there are millions of gods, deities, divine beings in this universe. Sometimes they can help human beings too, but they have a limit. They can't control everything. Sometimes they have some spiritual energy, psychic power, but their power is limited. However, when this divine being asked these four questions, suddenly another deity answered it before Buddha answered. He was so hurried. He gave another answer before the Buddha. Bijang uppatatang settam Vutthi nipatatang varam. Gavo pavajamananang putto pavadatang varo. That God, that deity says that a seed is the best of things that rise up. A seed is the best of things that rise up. Then he says, Vutthi nipatatang vara. Rain excels among things that fall down. Then again he says, Gavo pavajamananam. Cattle or cows are the best of things that go forth on the earth. He says, cows are the best of things that walk on the earth. Then he says, a son is the most excellent of speakers. Can you understand the answers? Can you understand the questions that the other deity asked? Yes. What is the reason of these kind of answers? I think you can guess it. What is your guessing? Because this incident was in India. Even though divine beings come from other realms, Buddha was in India. They are related to Indian culture. Indian culture depend on agricultural situation. They always wished for rain. And also they always wished male persons. That is why these kind of answers. Especially, Hindu society is a very religious society. They have a very special belief that after someone died, they believe that only son can transfer merits to him. Daughters can't. Still they believe it. Therefore, when they get married, one of their wishes is having a son. Yes, having a son, they think that as a bliss in their life. In one side, having a son is very beneficial to their agricultural things. And also, not only this life, that the son helps them when they died. Only sons can transfer merits to their beloved departed parents. Yes. However, that is the belief of Hindu society.
They still do?
Still they believe it. Still they believe it. On the other side, their wealth depend on cows. Cow is their property, their source. Not only their wealth, the material wealth, but they believe that the cow is the vehicle of their God. Therefore, Hindu people never kill cows, or they never eat beef. Hindu people. And also, they always wish for rain because they want to cultivate something, because they live in a agricultural environment. That is why this deity says that a seed is the best of things that rise up. They hope that their seeds should increase gradually. That is their wishes. They hope that to succeed their agriculture, their seeds. And also, not only they wish the rising of their seeds, but for the benefits of rising of seeds, they wanted having rain. That is why the second thing that they think that rain excels among the things that fall down. They always wish rain fall down, may rain fall down. They worship the sky, they worship the sun, they worship the moon, they worship the gods, they worship the clouds wishing rain. The next one, cattle are the best of things that go forth on the earth. They think that whoever walks on the earth is excellent, that cows. And they think cow is their relatives. Cows are their relatives. Sometimes cows live at home. They have a particular room at home. And that is why they think like that. And also, a son is the most excellent of speakers. When they listening to the sound of sons, they are so happy. Having a son is one of their dreams. Okay? That deity is related to that environment. that culture. That is why he has given this kind of answer. However, did Buddha believe or accept this idea? No. Even though this is the idea of that deity who belongs to that environment or tradition, but Buddha didn't accept it. Buddha's answers are different. When that deity asked the Buddha, Kinso uppatatang settam, what is the best of things that rise up? The answer of the Buddha is that vijja uppatatang settam. Wisdom is the best of things that rise up. It is like the dawn or shining of the sun. The most important thing among the things which rise up is the wisdom. That is Buddha's answer. When that deity asked Buddha, Kinso nipatatang varam, what excels among the things that fall down? When that deity asked, Buddha answered, Avijja nipatatang vara. Ignorance excels among the things that fall down. Ignorance is the thing that we should be fallen down. And again, when that deity asked Buddha, Kinsu pavaja mananam, what is the best of things that walk on the earth? Buddha says, Sango pavaja mananam. The Sangha is the best of things that walk on this earth. Because they walk on the earth preaching Dhamma, having a field of their merits. When monks go on the earth, people listening to Dhamma, and also people do some merits, offering something to monks. And therefore that is a very pleasant scene for their eyes. Monks or Sangha is the vehicle who brings this message to the world, from village to village, from generation to generation. On the Silk Road, I think you have heard the Silk Road. That is a very special route from India throughout Middle East to China and up to Africa. There are long road which is Silk Route. Along the Silk Road, with some merchants, monks had gone to many places, bringing the message of the Buddha. And also, again, Buddha says, when that deity asked Buddha, Kinsu pavadatang varam, who is the best, who is the most excellent of speakers? Buddha says, the most excellent of speakers is the Buddha. In Buddha's speech, there are no harsh words, false word, and rubbish or meaningless words. Every word that Buddha used is meaningful and true. That is why Buddha says, the most excellent of speakers is the Buddha. And that is why even today, people who are intelligent and educated respect the Buddha's words. Nobody can change Buddha's word. Nobody can say that this is false. This is not true. Nobody can say. And Buddha said the world reality. It is not Buddha's creative idea. Buddha realized, Buddha discovered and proclaimed the worldly truth. Buddha says, whether a Buddha appears or not in the world, this sublime truth is forever. We respect Buddha because he himself realized and discovered this message. But Buddha says very clearly, this message doesn't belong to even Buddha. This message belongs to people who are intelligent. This message doesn't belong to Buddha. Because this message is the story of our life. What happens to our life? What is the nature of our life? How we overcome suffering. This is the story of our life. This is not apart from our self. This is not away from ourselves. This message completely related to our life. That is why Buddha says like that. Then we can discuss these 3-4 things that Buddha has explained. One of them is wisdom. And then Buddha says ignorance. And the Sangha and the Buddha. Wisdom means, Buddha says, Panya Naranang Ratanam. Wisdom is the most valuable gem of men. Panyaya parisujyati. Wisdom purifies our mind. Panya. Apadana sobini panya. We can see our wisdom throughout our behavior, our character. If our character is correct and pure, it means our wisdom is very high. Our understanding, our knowledge, intelligence is very high if our character is correct. If our vision is very direct and if our mind is very pure, it means our wisdom is very high. Whenever we are unhappy, it means we are ignorant. What is the ignorance that we have when we are suffering? We are living in the past experience without mindfulness. Whenever you cry, when your close relative dies, you are crying. When you cry, what you tell? My relative did these things for me. Saying those things, you are crying. You are still living in the past experience when he helped you. Then you can cry a lot without permission. But if you are mindful and wise, you can never cry. You can remember all incidents, not only this life, but even past lives we can remember when we develop our mindfulness. But we never cry because we know very well, now I read my mind. In this life, we have a memory. In this life, memory related to our physical brain. But our historical memory doesn't belong to this physical brain. When we are close to dying, our all memories come to our mind, not through our brain, but through our mind. When we were born in this world, our energies are limited to our brain, physical brain. Now, our memory depends on our brain. If we have some problem in our brain, sometimes our memory can be deleted. But our ancient memory, anytime we can remind it. It doesn't relate to our physical brain. Yes?
So this, when we face this life, it's our karmic law that affect this life, right? So our mind works according to that karmic law, and when we are near the death, all these other forces come in and we remember everything. Is that what it is?
Actually, karmic law doesn't depend on our brain.
Okay.
Even now, we depend on karmic law. Actually, even now, we are getting some results of our karmic law that we have done in this life or in next life, in past lives. But the karmic law doesn't come through our brain. It directly comes to our mind. Our mind and memory actually different. Mind and mental formations are different. Mind is like just water, pure water. Memory is like that we added to water. Memory is one of the abilities of our mental formations. But memory and mind are interrelated. When we do these activities, we completely do everything with our karmic law. And also we can do some new things too. All of them are related to our actions, our present mind, and also we can create new things, we can create new consciousnesses, and it doesn't matter whether we have a brain or no. For example, when we were born in mother's womb, we have no such a brain. But when we develop our mind, when we develop our not only mind but mindfulness, we can read everything which happened in the mother's womb from where we were born in mother's womb. Even though we had no brain in the womb, first we were born in mother's womb, we can remember everything. We can tell everything which happened in mother's womb. And now, after we were born in the world, our memory is related to the physical brain. That is why when brain has a damage, sometimes the memory deleted. But anytime, if we develop our mind, anytime we can remind them. It is separate from brain. Now we have limited our memory to our physical brain. But anytime when we develop our mind, we can go away from physical brain and we can remember anything.
So we can revisit the other memories.
Yes, we can remember previous things too. Especially when we are close to die, our physical things don't work. At that time, mind completely works and mind can remind everything, not only this life but even millions of previous lives. That is the nature of our mind. At that moment, our mind or our memory doesn't depend on our physical brain. Even we have some disease such as coma, near the death, our mind works. And the things which happened in the past come to our mind. According to those karmas, the next life will be decided. That is the nature of our life, mind. It is a big story actually. Still, I am also studying something in Buddhism about these things. We will have a good discussion in future, okay? Be hopeful. Then, however, wisdom is very important. Wisdom means one of the abilities of mental formations. When we have wisdom, our all activities are different. And according to our wisdom, our senses change. When we are ignorant, when somebody who is very beautiful, our mind is lustful. When my mind is with wisdom, even though I say something which is lustful, my mind is not lustful. Because at the moment, according to my wisdom, my eyes have changed. Then at that moment, nobody can bring defilements to my mind, negative thoughts to my mind. Actually, Buddha says, Nate kama yani chitrani loke. The beautiful things in the world are not lustful. Lust is created by ourselves inside. For example, if there is a beautiful person, sometimes we have lust in our mind. Then that person's mom, if she is here, does she have the same thing? No, she doesn't have. Lust or any other defilements are created by ourselves. If our mind is very high with wisdom, then we are skillful. Buddha says how we develop our skillfulness in senses. You know, in the educational field, they may think that if we have GPA, high GPA, we are so clever. But Buddhist GPA is the skillfulness of senses with mindfulness. We should create the proficiency, skillfulness in our senses. We should have mindfulness. Then nobody can bring us sorrow or suffering. Because we have a guard here. We have a good attention, awareness, mindfulness and wisdom here. We select the things that we are useful to our life. The other things we keep away. Then we have an unshaken mind because we have mindfulness. That is the importance of having wisdom that Buddha has explained. On the other side, that is why Buddha says, wisdom is the best of things that rise up. If we want to increase, develop something, among them, wisdom is the most important thing. The opposite side is ignorance. If we want to decrease something, among them, Buddha says, ignorance excels among things that fall down. Buddha doesn't say that rain is the best thing that fall down. But Buddha says, if something fall down, ignorance is the most important thing. It means that we should go away from ignorance. Ignorance means we can explain it in several ways. When we look at something, if our mind is fixed in outside person or things, it means we are ignorant. We recognize you according to my mental conditions. When I see you, I go to look at you, I go to touch you. I find a physical thing. I can't touch Mr. Luminder. When I go to touch you, I touch your 4 fundamental elements. Because it is different from person to person. When I touch you, my feelings is different. Your mom, when mom touches you, her feeling is different. But we create something inside. Your mom create that you are her son. I think you are our close friend or devotee. According to our mental condition, we create people and things. But in the outside, there are only 4 fundamental elements. And we create these things at the moment. Actually, we have no ready-made things. According to present mental condition, we create persons and things. We enjoy or worry according to our present mental condition. When we are ignorant, through our senses, we are suffering. We suffer. When we are wise, when we are intelligent, with wisdom, then we are away from suffering. We completely depend on wisdom. Buddha's advice is in first level. Keeping our attention to mind, we are free from outside physical things. Then, keeping our attention to wisdom, we are free from consciousness too. First, here, there are something outside. This is I. First, I and here mind. Then first, we think when we look at something, when we go to the mirror, we should think that the object of this thing is here. Like that, when we look at something, we should think, this thing is created by my mind. Then our attention is here, mind. Here, still we are not away from suffering. Even though we think it is impermanent, we may think that my mind is permanent. Then mind is not permanent. Then keeping our attention in wisdom, we should be free from mind to permanent mind too. Then when we, there are some Brahmas who are in Brahma realm, they are in this side. Their mind is not fixed in outside, but their mind is fixed inside. Still they are not away from suffering. Buddhism pointed out the next thing, the highest thing here. Keeping our attention on wisdom, we should be free from mind too or consciousness too. Then within everything is impermanent. Every moment, 5 aggregates are together arising and ceasing. Our success depends on how far, how long we reflect on this reality. Therefore, we have to increase the duration of practice in mindfulness and impermanence. Day by day, from moment to moment, we should increase the duration of time that we practice impermanence. We were born in this world for this duty. While we are studying, while we are doing good jobs, while we are doing our responsibilities to our relatives, this should be our our first goal in our life. That is the most important goal in our life. Actually, there are some people in the world who wish to become this situation, but they have no permission to come to this way. They have a lot of problems. Even they don't have time to listen to this message. They have no lesser time because they have not enough time. You are showing that your fortune. You have enough time to listen to this message. Actually, that is the very severe, huge advantage in your life. If somebody hasn't this lesser time, rest time to listen to this message, it means that they have no enough merits come to this understanding. You are showing that you have enough merits and wishes that you have done in your previous lives. Even though some people are very rich and educated, they have no merits for this chance. Therefore, you can be happy. You can be proud of this valuable chance. Don't miss it. On the other side, when you do your duties, responsibilities for your parents, for your children, for your relatives, then those things are beneficial you to come to this understanding. Because you do those responsibilities, you have received this chance, valuable chance. If you didn't do those things, you wouldn't have this chance. Therefore, while we are doing our duties, our education, our jobs, earning money, we should dedicate our time to listening to this message and practice this message. That is the result that we receive throughout this very valuable life. The next one is the Sangha. Sangha is also very important. That Buddha says, Sangha is the thing that brings this message to the world like a vehicle. If we didn't meet Sangha or monks, we wouldn't have to listen to this message. When we have no chance to listen to this message, we have no chance to understand or recognize the Buddha. Among the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Sangha is the thing, that the live thing, and also other two things are brought by the Sangha. Therefore, if we want to give this, if we want to practice and bring this message to future, we should help Sangha. That is very important. You know, there are some countries like Indonesia, Java, Sumatra, Afghanistan, Middle East. Those are the countries where a lot of monks were. But first, monks vanished. Then, even though there are very big statues there, Buddha's images, people have no Dhamma, they have no chance to listen to Dhamma, then they destroy those things. In this situation, it is very important to have in monks. That is why Buddha has explained the importance of helping monks to deliver this message from generation to generation. Especially some Asian countries like Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan monks learned by heart this message for 400 years after Buddha passed away, and they wrote down this message in some leaves, and that the thing which went to the world. And throughout their service, now we have received the Buddha's message in this world. And also, that is why Buddha says, Sangha, the Sangha for his disciples is the best of persons that go forth on the earth. And also, the next one, the Buddha's speech, that is very important, Buddha's words. Actually, in some levels, we should have confidence in Buddha's enlightenment. When we achieve some results, it doesn't need to more confidence, because that is our realization. For example, when you go to a new place, first of all, we should believe some person's message or address. When you reach the destination, you don't need to believe that person. Buddhism also like that. Until we come to some kind of steps, especially in the first level of spirituality, the Sotapanna, we should have some confidence. When we go to that level, actually, we know the path. We can go forward with confidence. But up to now, we should have some kind of confidence in Buddha's words. However, if we want to see the results visibly, immediately, we have to practice concentration and wisdom. Even though we offer something to others, the results are late. But when we are going to practice mindfulness, loving kindness, impermanence, then results are visible. Result can be seen immediately. We can overcome suffering. Nobody can disturb our peace of mind. Even though they blame us, even though they help us, our mind is unshaken. Okay, thank you for your good attention. If you have any question, you can ask. Tominde?
Collect my thoughts.
After you go home, if you need to ask something, please bring those things next day, okay? I will answer. Okay, thank you for your coming and good participation and good attention. Today we discuss Vutthi Sutta, which comes in Samyutta Nikaya. Here there are 4 things we discussed: wisdom, ignorance, Sangha, and the Buddha. These 4 things are very important. Buddha has explained here the importance of these 4 things. Some things we should increase, some things we should decrease or avoid. Okay, by the power of all this spiritual energy, may our departed relatives also receive these merits, and may they enhance their spiritual energy. Finally, may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their spiritual divine energy, and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. May they keep the eye on you too. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsaṭṭhā ca bummatti devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsaṭṭhā ca bummatti devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsaṭṭhā ca bummatti devā nāgā mahiddhikā පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ත්වං සදා. By the power of all these merits, may you, and especially Mr. Dhammagaru, who was listening from far away, may all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantāca niddukkhaṃ, bhayam pantāca nibbayam, sokam pantāca nissokam, hantu sambe pipānino. Dukin pelena sat, dukin midettva, Bien pelena sat, bien etivet. Sovinte venasat, somnas vetva, nitin mehamasat, suepat vetva. May the Trifle Gem bless you.